And when we gave birth to it, it was, remember, the number one item was the cost of living, that had continued and continues to date to be a big problem to Kenyans. We have now many policies that have been put in place that are not working. If you talk about the health sector, it's more or less collapsed. If you talk about the education sector, we are told that the capitation, the amount of money the government is sending today is 3,000 shillings per student, as opposed to the 12,000 shillings that they expected. Can you imagine 3,000 as opposed to 12,000? How the teachers, the head teachers and the principals are going to manage, that is going to be a very difficult thing. If you talk about the security sector, again, there isn't much you can talk about. When you talk about vetting for those who wants to be issued with ID, we are not against any community, but it is a security issue that is of concern to all of us. We want Kenyans to get the IDs as easy as it can be possible, but at the same time making sure that we do not allow elements that will eventually become a problem to us as a nation. We also don't want that aspect to be used to league elections, because it is possible for that to be done. You can let in people through the boundaries who can then become registered as voters, and that can tilt the voting desire or the outcome that Kenyans may desire come 2027 or earlier. And also remember, if you are talking about we have Busia is also a border area. We have Namanga, pia huko ni mpaka, the other side of Mount Elgon. All these are areas that are communities that border others. And when you I've talked about security, but I think security also goes hand in hand with the foreign policy. We supported Baba in his quest for the AUC position. Unfortunately, he didn't succeed. But we also need to ask ourselves as a country, and especially from the head of the state, how did we contribute to his failure to capture that seat? Are there people who didn't like our faces? Are there people who didn't like what we have stood for, or what we may have said there before? Is it in keeping with us to host who, you know, for lack of a better word, people who are looking for ways of overthrowing the government in power in the neighboring country? Why would you want to host such a group in our country? However friendly they are to you, what does it tell that the leadership in those countries, or even the populace in that country? I think some of those are mishaps that one way or another may have contributed to the failure of Baba reaching the AUC seat. I don't Kenyans have decided hii mambo ya Ruto must go. Hata mtoto wa kindergarten ukimuuliza ile wimbo anapenda sana siku hii ni Ruto must go. Kwa hivyo hiyo sasa they are looking at us and wondering whether we are organizing ourselves in a manner that will help them achieve their desire. And these members here have joined others across the country and other leaders of other parties by also saying that they also want to have their own presidential candidate as a party, not to mean that he becomes the eventual presidential candidate, but a presidential candidate within the party who will then join others in coming up with one person who I believe as a coalition or as people in the opposition, we should be able to back And I see you looking at me like you want me to mention the name. And I don't need to mention